Hello, folks.
Hello, you're back.
Hello. Where is Kefu?
Well, I don't know. I hope he will join soon.
It is still dark in your side?
Sorry, could you repeat, please?
Oh, I mean, it is still dark in your side. It is six
Yes, yes,
o'clock in the
it
morning.
exactly. We got a time change that is not synchronized worldwide, and all meetings, well, it's just a mess. US will change the time zone maybe in 2 weeks from now, so.
I think next weekend.
Ah, even better. Cool.
So we will
I'll wait.
also change our time.
Uh, so US summer or that daytime it will be ended, and
Kefu said the meeting will be earlier, for an hour, right? That he said
earlier. Yes, I think, but I think Kefu can also use the 10 p.m. So Riddle's side will be 7 in the morning, right? 7 o'clock in the morning.
It works, guys. No worries. All time slots works perfectly for me.
It's 6 is too early for you.
Well, it will be. However, we got. I'm a remote worker, and I can have the call from my home. Don't need to travel to office, so it's not big deal really.
Do you go to bed after the meeting?
No, I will use it to consume. Well, to be honest, I've got used to working at night. Why
Okay.
I treat that as opportunity to switch to a bit better business hours, a
yeah,
bit more useful. Well, yes, please
and
continue.
sleep earlier. Yeah, you can
I believe,
sleep earlier.
yeah, I can, but if I would also wake up earlier. So
Yeah,
I I would also finish working a bit earlier, which means that there still will be light outside on the second side of window. So it has also advantages. By the way, I saw that Kifu has declined the invitation
Oh,
we got in calendar
mhm.
because well, Kifu Chai declined because I'm out of office.
out of
So
Okay.
office.
I'm not sure whether Kifu will join us.
So I see there are other Red Hat people will join, right? There are other
Uh,
invitations for other people, right?
I saw it became public. I saw invitation sent well yesterday, I guess. Still not sure whether anyone will join, but maybe let's wait 3 minutes or something like that, and we'll see.
Okay.
Kefu will go to Rabbit next week, right? And I can meet Kefu at Santa Clara next week.
Ah,
Is he? Why he travel? Just to meet you in Santa Clara?
There's some Red Hat Summit, and there's a meeting
Oh,
in Red Hat.
okay.
Ritos, are you working from home? Always working from home?
No, not always. There are a couple of five actually Red Hatters in my city. So we get together and rent a co-working space to not to not be enforced to work from home all the time.
Okay. I don't like working from home because nobody. I can't only me. The company and there are the colleagues and around me. I like
So
people
mhm.
inside people.
Yeah, yep. That's I also like
So somebody
good
is
coffee. And I don't have a coffee machine in my house, so it's good idea to go to get actually to the office, even to prepare a good coffee.
Yeah,
yeah.
if I get any questions, I can ask them immediately, not email and wait.
Yes, yes, yes. Face-to-face communication is much more effective. I can see that because, well, one of my teammates, Adam Kupczyk, who is also working on CEF, works together with me from the same location. It's far more effective to have a talk in a kitchen during a coffee break than fire a series of emails.
So, Riddles, is English your native language or not?
No, I'm Paul. Polish is my native one.
Oh, Polish. Okay.
Yep.
They are similar with the English or not? The two language.
Uh, No, actually, they are completely different.
Oh,
We are using
completely
even
different.
a slightly altered, yep, we are using even a slightly altered Latin alphabet. We got,
Okay.
we have more than 30 letters in the alphabet. There are some
Okay.
additions. It's even hard to write my name in.
Uh, so seems Kefu will not join.
Yeah. So maybe let's start.
Yeah, is
Okay.
there
Do do
anything
do
to
you
discuss?
do you want to
Yeah,
talk just between us?
yeah. Well, do we have anything to plan to
You think
some topics to think about? Uh,
any
that,
problem
Uh,
do we meet?
yeah.
well, I was taking a look on OSD map accesses on hot paths inside OSD. Well, let me think to
Oh,
pull
are you
request.
working on OSD map?
Yep, a bit in our area, somewhere close, very close to it. Uh, Basically, I'm focused right now on making a shortcut in current OSD. The the the, the rationale is that the current logic we have from the main entry point of a single request, which is primary log pg do request, to, let's say, object stores read. Well, the 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 amount of business logic there is absolutely terrifying, and I can see in profiling that, well, it's, let me provide some numbers. Do primary log pg altogether with its children consumes around 50% of cycles of all of whole Ceph OSD process. However, the absolutely essential things like doing a read in object store, plus sending a response, plus some other small, I would say, activities are responsible only for summed up together only for 30% of all OSD cycles. So it means that somewhere between those boundaries, somewhere between primary lock PG do request and object store read, we are losing around 20% of cycles. It's huge amount, and it's very hard to find a single responsible call. There are dozens of them, and everything is spilled over. So the idea is to just experiment with trying to make a shortcut for most critical operations, starting from reads, pure reads over replicated backend. So instead of taking the full path, very long, very complex path, we would get a small decision point at the very beginning of the path, some decision point for judging whether the request. Well, we got Kifu.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello.
Hello,
Sorry,
Kavu.
guys. I managed to join my own meeting and missed the one sent by Mike.
it's lucky we
It's
are
my
still
bad.
here.
Yeah, I was just WeChatting Yinxin to figure out what happened, but I checked my
I
calendar
didn't
again.
see.
It turns out. Anyway,
I just see your text.
how's it going, guys? I actually I need to apologize to you guys because I was busy with librettos and library things to try to split the C interface from a C interface. We need to get it out before Nautilus get released. It's because Nautilus will be released in like 2 months. So I need more time to get it stabilized and to shake out all the regressions before that day. So didn't get much progress in Seastar.
Yeah, I see the review is slower than before.
Yep.
And
I was on. And I was preparing for the talk on 3DB Summit, which will be held in Force next month. So was sidetracked by it also.
is it related to Seastar?
Yes, pretty much. It will be a user conference for CLDB, but Seastar is the technology, the secret sauce behind it in CLDB. So I was also invited to present the talk. But I know there won't be a lot of developer out there, but there's a good chance to talk to the developer behind CLDB and Seastar to talk to them in person to find out what the best practice could be. For example, how we could profile the assistant application or how to debug it, something like that. That would be good to know because it's quite different than the good old programming model we are being used to.
Yeah, that's great
also,
to have contact with.
If you have any specific question, please drop in mails so I can forward it to them. So hopefully I can explain it to them and get a good answer from them.
Yeah, I think I have some questions I can send to you.
Cool. And that's basically what I have, and I promise I will back to Seastar work very soon, and hopefully we'll pull Casey into the meeting. I would, Casey won't be a developer in this in our project, but he will sure be a reviewer, a very good reviewer for our PRs, as he has been doing.
Oh,
Yes,
cool.
he's very good.
Sure. He's being straggled by RGB works also.
RGB work. Okay.
Sure. That's my status actually. By the way, Redok, I also tried to reply your question over the
I saw
pad.
thanks for the replies.
Okay, I didn't get your reply over the IRC, so I just wanted to make sure you read it.
Yep, stowed up.
Sorry to interrupting your discussions. Please go on. What are we? Where are we? Sorry.
We were talking a bit about experimenting with introducing shortcuts to current for hottest operation we have now, introducing a shortcuts to current OSD. Basically, with the basically to ensure to get knowledge about all data dependencies we have on the paths, like OSD map, like all data structures we need to visit, we need to query doing a particular request, like whether we need to ask. Yep.
Sorry, Redok, did you get a chance to read the a note shared by Greg? He was trying to analyze analysis the data structures using OSD.
I got link on the OSSCon autumn. I saw, and basically it looks right, especially when it comes to OSD map. I saw there was some, if I recall correctly, there were some proposals to make some kind of shared services, to make some kind of service to share OSD across cores. And I was poking to verify whether this is absolutely necessary, and maybe it's not.
Sorry, if you're talking about OSD maps, what pieces of it is necessary to be shared? I think we take it as a whole piece, and we are not intended to split it out by shard in short term. Is that what I mean?
Yep. Yes, that's the idea. Just to to kill on. It seems that almost all writes we have to this particular memory region is only because of ref counting, of extensive ref counting we are doing on OSD map. But the map itself is mostly read only.
Right.
So if we kill this extensive counter specific traffic, most likely we won't need to rework OSD map implementation at all. I'm assuming that read only sharing in Seastar that's perfectly fine. That only writes, that only modifications are a problem from the Seastar point of view. That's my assumption.
Yeah, yes, but I thought we've discussed on it, and we come down to a foreign pointer plus shared pointer using Seastar's counterparts last time. Is this the same?
I think
Okay,
so.
cool.
I think so.
Okay, cool.
But also I've sent a couple of new patches that minimizes the requirements for applying that construct even more.
Again, what contractor or what?
The idea is to squeeze as much traffic driven by ref OSD map ref counting as
Yes,
possible.
yes.
And
But
that's
but if we use the Seastar lightweight SharePoint, we can completely reduce. Actually, could reduce the overhead of a cross-core communication or cache the overhead of cache consistency. So it's not
yep.
a problem anymore. Even we keep the recounter around, but replace it using the Seastar
Yes, but it still will be a
SharePoint.
problem for current OSD, where we
Oh,
have
you are
a
talking about
shared
current
pointer.
OSD.
Well,
Okay, cool.
the idea is to I'm trying to shot two rabbits with the same bullet.
Oh, see. Okay, cool. I understood.
Doing such modifications, like especially the shortcut idea. The main goal of it is to verify our knowledge about data dependencies in the context of C-star based OSD. However, maybe it's not a priority. Maybe there will be another outcome, like a series of touches that can be applied to current OSDs to gain a couple of percent more IOPS. But it's just a side quest, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to make sure we're focusing on the Crimson project, but I agree that the current OSD implementation could be benefited from it. But I don't want
Yes.
to get it sidetracked because I am sidetracked by current OSD a lot in day and in my day job and also
Yep. I am aware about that, and I see current OSD basically like a test box. We can experiment with it a bit.
Okay. Hopefully Neha won't listen to this. Okay, cool. Understood. But regarding to the general direction of the Chrism, I would like to chop it down to smaller but not very small pieces so we can start working on it. And at the same time avoid focusing on the two-level details.
Sure. What about starting the the porting of IO path, porting to Crimson, starting that work from shortcut we would make for current OSD. What
Yeah,
about
that was a good idea.
how do you feel with that idea?
I completely agree, but we just need to make a more concrete plan. For example, which part we need to.
Right now I'm working on the very common case for RBD, which is Klein read only over a replicated bucket. I don't want to try to focus on even think about erasure coding because well it's far more complicated. It requires asynchronous reads. It requires double execution of context in OSD. It's nightmare, to be honest. Replicated backend is far easier
Yeah.
to start with.
Yeah, and it's the fast pass also complicated a lot because it's able to handle both cases, the fast pass and the non-fast pass,
Yeah.
and the recovery pass and non-recovery pass.
Yep.
I would like to take care of it later when we have stabilized the replica pass. We can focus on the replica case first. I don't think the erasure code will change the general design of the Crimson. I don't think so.
I believe erasure coding will be much lesser problem in Crimson that is currently in OSD.
Yeah, I think so. It's
because
we can
with Crimson we are getting.
In a very high level design, it could be like wrapped in a code like when or, and all of the sub continuation will grab the chunks from remote. But the
Yep, with
criteria
Crimson.
could vary because that's the inherent nature of the irrational coding, right? Because it's not
Right.
necessary to get the first M chunk. It can also get the necessary pieces, even if it comes from a priority shard, right? So,
Right. But
but I don't think
the
it's
main point
yeah,
I believe is that in Crimson we got asynchronous machinery out of the box, so we
right.
don't need to have our own like in current OSD, where well we started the asynchronous things if I recall correctly from handling recovery. So the requirements for performance weren't too strict. Then the same machinery was used to bring erasure coding things. Then then we were trying even to reuse it for handling asynchronous for bringing asynchronous reads even to a replicated backend, and it was dead end because of overhead.
Yes,
Yep,
yes. I
with
still recall your
with
PR.
that's yep with Seastar. Well, we we have actually asynchronous engine out of the box. It's ready. It's there by default.
Yes, yes. We can get it for nothing.
Yep.
And and that's all I have actually. So
Uh,
the next step I think is to Riddle, I believe I'm not pushing you, but if we can have a very high level design doc, that would be very helpful to have a concrete, more at least very coarse grained plan.
I see. That's the reason why that's the reason behind preparing a shortcut for reads and writes in current OSD to ensure to gain knowledge about the data dependencies. I would really love to avoid a situation
Mhm.
where we just forgotten about some lookups, some structures that maybe need sharing. At the
Okay.
moment, I don't think there is any of that. Still, having a mergeable PR will be preferred.
What a PR would be? Sorry, I don't
with
follow you.
with the shortcut for current OSD.
Okay, but what is the dependency of it? What do we need to do? What we can do in parallel to get it ready sooner? Regarding to the shortcut PR, I don't think we can get it done in a single PR, right?
Well, I believe we can. I think that for at least for reads over replicated backend, it won't be more than 500 or 500 lines of code.
Wow. So it's okay. So you have a very tangible understanding of this change.
Yeah, I think it can be, well, I believe it can be very small because
Wow.
it seems that most of the complexity we have on current OSD paths is not necessary for pure reads. At the moment, we have only one path for all cases. For simpler one, the same path for simple request and very
Mhm.
complicated ones.
So
So we
by
are
then we
paying.
will be able to at least read from RBD image using the
Yes.
Seastar messenger, and from well from what kind of object store? how should we ready the object store for adapting to the shortcut path?
In current OSDs, well, it will be
No,
better.
in
In current
Crimson
OSDs,
OSD,
in Crimson, well, I believe Memstore.
mem store. So is the existing mem store good enough, or we need to change the interface with as we discussed before, or what path we need to go? Actually, I actually you laid out two options. One is to change the interface. Another is to have an adapter. That's a VM option I put in your discussion. Let me post
Yep,
the URL in the chat so we can look
I
at
talked
it.
also. Sure, I also talked with Stage about other ideas. Well, we talked on the last meeting. We talked about the realization and deserialization of object store transaction. That it's used also that it sits also on the local path. And Sage really wants to keep the current architecture. Yeah, I see reasons for that. Mostly data safety.
But it does not interfere with with either of the two options, the VM option or
It will be
the
it's
one to adapt to the interface.
yep, it's a separated thing that we could do alongside
Okay.
on the occasion with the Seastar driven rework.
Yeah.
But still, it's not necessary. It seems that for poking with Seastar, all we need to do is to bring future, futures to object store interface.
Yeah, we could put it to like midterm or long term or stretch goal, but we need to put it somewhere so we don't lose it as the time goes.
And maybe we can do it not we can do maybe we can do it gradually. If we
Yes.
start from just reads, basically all we need to do is to alter couple methods of object store, not all of them.
But what we must do at this moment to adapt to the shortcut path. We need to prioritize them, right? Because we are short of resource.
Yep. We will need to focus on object store read.
Is do we have a concept on this or
Yeah.
some plan regarding to the how to adapt the existing mem store read interface to the Seastar?
Yeah. So for memory currently, OSD memory store, they have some interface to access the disk, the file on the disk. But that interface just such as the mount or make file system, and after the store quit, they will do the same. Amount after amount, they do the same to save the buffer's content into the file system. So, but when you access the store, it's not
Yes, that's the point.
not rewrite the disk. So I have replaced that interface by the Seastar Open File DMA and used input stream and output stream, but not tested, just finish the coding. And when you're using the memory store, I think there is no block. I just removed the lock in the memory store because each Seastar thread, each Seastar core has his own memory store shared service and has its own collections and object hash table and hash map. So there is no lock needed for this instance. So I just write the unit test to test that interface and test the how to test the access the memory store according to the shared service.
I believe we discussed this design in last meeting because we cannot assume that each core has its own OSD device. It's completely changing the overall design of a SIP and or how we share the PGs because OSD are shared by cores. It's shared.
Oh,
The
I'm just
PG is
thinking
shared,
the
not the
memory
OSD is
store.
shared.
No, I mean, just thinking the memory store, it just use the file system. A file is it's just saved into a file.
I agree, but we cannot assume that each core has its own instance of
but each
object
core
store
has
storage.
a file. It's okay. Just now.
As long as the
It's
yes,
just for memory store. Just for memory store, and not
but
consider the blue store.
yes, the point is we need to understand the limitation of this design. It's quite different from our ultimate goal. Our goal is to have a OSD, and each is sharded by an OSD
IP.
host like hundreds of PGs, and these PGs are split among all the cores, and each OSD is supported by a single backend storage. Normally, it could be a NVMe device or a hard disk or SSD. So it's quite different from your design, where each core has its own backend device.
Yeah, I
If we
didn't consider other store, just the memory store.
Maybe I saw that memstore internally uses two backends, I would say. One is built on top of buffer list. Second one is built on the top of page set or something like that. By default, it's buffer list.
Yes.
And I'm not sure whether this is a huge constraint. Yes,
Okay.
in some regions there is locking driven behavior. There is pin lock basically, but I'm maybe not so necessary. Maybe it's unnecessary to at least at this point to have perfect parallelization of object store. Maybe some locking is okay for the testing, for the initial testing time.
So you assume that there is the very little interconnection
so.
or status sharing between different PG in a single object store. So the log contention, if any, can be ignored. So we can assume that
the memory store has just one collections, just one collections. All the thread, all the OSD work thread use this one collection. So there is log for the collection. When you access the collection, you need to hold the log. So the other thread will wait for the log.
By collection, we map each PG to a single collection. Is that what you mean by collection?
All the thread can handle the same PG request, right?
Yep.
So there's a risk contactions on the lock collection lock. All the thread maybe need to require this lock, so they have to wait. Not only the time get the lock, they have to wait if the other thread hold the lock.
I don't really think the multi-thread could be reading from the same PG because the PG are sharded by cores. So only
PG shared because
yes. So at the same time, only a single thread will be accessing a given PG. But
Okay,
the
so
point is, the PGs are shared by.
PG.
The point is, the OSD could have multiple PGs.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, no
So
problem.
if redox theory holds, we can pretend that the multiple there are none or little data shared between the different PGs held by a single
Yeah.
OSD or a single
So Kefu,
object store. If that's
since
true,
we do the
can.
PG, since
There
we
you go.
do the PG sharded, so one PG only can be processed by one core, right?
True.
And so that lock is not necessary.
Yes, but
That lock is not necessary. You can remove it, and you keep it is no problem. Remove it is no problem. It's not necessary.
right, but we are talking about the backend object store, which is shared by multiple PG. But
Shared
as
with
long as
multiple.
we can ignore the data shared by multiple PG in a single OSD. We are good.
Yeah,
But
it's okay.
but the general design is quite different from what we have now.
Not for that lock. The lock is different, and is not different, and only the backend to read write disk.
Okay.
Only about how you read write the disk. Because all the Seastar core will read write disk, the same device. We are talking about this. The lock is not not a problem.
If we are going to use the DMA, the 5 DMA method to access the disk, we are good, because if you
How about
look
they use
look
the
at
same
it closer.
file?
Yes, that's a question, because if you look at the Seastar code closer, the core closer, if you look into the DMA access, use the implementation of Seastar, you will find out that a core is signed to a given device. So whenever you send a read or write request to a given device or given file, it will be rescheduled to a specific core. I believe Yingxin mentioned that last time, and I verified his findings.
So you mean a special core will pin to a file, and when
True.
the other core want to access that file, they will send the message to the special core.
Yes, at this moment it's true. Oh, it's not Yingxin, it was Redoc, because the underlying because the underlying scheduler implement we use a different scheduling strategy when accessing the underlying device. Unless we have a SD gate backed device access, we need to stick with this with backend. So it's always serialized to a single core when we use DMA access.
So you mean only one special core process the disk read write request?
True.
But the performance should be bad, right?
Not probably. It's a but not necessarily.
Much.
I have a concern here. If we schedule like it is the file device is owned by one core, right? And we actually access that device in all the cores. and it uses Seastar scheduler to schedule those continuations to another core. And so what's the performance difference to schedule the continuations instead of holding locks and in current OSD? What's the performance difference? I still don't know yet.
To be honest, I have no idea before we do a proper benchmark. But the upside of this strategy is that we have a better control of the queue depth, and it is managed by Seastar.
Mm-hmm.
And if I recall correctly, Seastar interacts in the case of non-DMA I/O. Seastar interacts with the system operational system using a set of dedicated threads that are going from user that are tanked between that are traveling between user space and kernel space all the time. So they are focused on basically only on doing syscalls, and it means I would assume that the indirect cost of syscalls of a syscall is much lower in such situation, because if you are in current architecture where syscall is where syscalls are interleaved with other parts of the code, well, after syscalls are responsible for making cache pollutions. After returning from a syscall, your CPU is far slower for huge amount of time. But if you move that syscall activity to separated threads like Seastar does, then maybe it's not so huge issue. Definitely, latency will be higher because of the communication, because of passing requests to the separated syscall doing threads, but I'm not sure about bandwidth, to be honest. It might be higher. And definitely, if we would go with Seastar driven DMA, I mean SPD, the bundle of DPDK for network accesses taken all together with SPDK for disk accesses, well, I expect we wouldn't need to have any syscall on main path.
Yeah, and from a QoS point of view, it would be easier to throttle or manage the number of the queue depths. I mean, I think that's why Seastar want to do this in this way.
Okay, I haven't thought about QoS.
Yes, they are using. They are working on some IO scheduler. They are
I
working on
see.
improving the IO scheduler in this area,
I
and they
see.
want to expand it to the network, but it hasn't started.
Are they thinking about batching the same
No,
kind of syscalls?
not sure. I think I read to believe patching the core are only to improve the code cache locality, but I don't really think the code cache locality can help with the IO path.
I don't know, to be honest.
Probably I can post
It's just
an article in the chat.
okay.
Here it is, found that where they introduced the execution patch or execution stage.
Okay,
Probably have you read it already, but I need a good reading for all of us. Jianpeng, I really want to what's your progress on your side? How are you doing?
No more update because I'm doing some work, but from this work I will move to Seastar.
Okay, so in short term, or you'll be back to the Seastar project very soon, right? Is that what mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
So let me know if you have any problem or need some assistance from my side, because I have very buggy implementation when I started working on Seastar of the shared RRU design.
Okay.
Tell me what are you how are you doing and what you are working on aside from implementing the persistent path when the memory the memory store starts and shut down.
Are you asking? Hi, Kefu.
Yes.
Whom are you asking the question?
Yeah,
To
you.
whom? For me?
Yeah, sure.
Answer for me.
I just want to understand, is there
Oh, okay.
anything blocking you or what kind of help you could be used?
So I don't know what you just mentioned that only special call access the file, and the other call will send the request to that special call. I don't know the mechanism in Seastar. I have to investigate on it.
But I don't really think that's all these things matters if we don't want to implement reinvent a blue store using Seastar. If we go with the two routes, right? One is to build adapt the existing implementation of a blue store to Seastar. Another is to re-implement the blocking calls using Seastar. If we go with the first way, we don't need to care about how Seastar read or write online disk because we will be using the AIO and the direct IO directly, which is, and we can leave it for long-term plan. In other case, we need to worry about how Seastar interact with the online device.
I don't understand your question. Why we use AIO, we don't care about the Seastar Blue Store. So
currently, we are using the AIO and direct IO underneath Blue in the kernel device or CC and in BlueFS. But if we wanted to port BlueStore to Seastar, that would be another story, because we will need to replace the blocking cost with Seastar.
So you mean if we don't port BlueStar to Seastar, just use the traditional thread Seastar, BlueStar,
Right.
then we
Right.
don't care about it.
Right. If we want to put the existing BlueStar in the alien territory, namely to build all the to host it in the alien thread and route all the blocking calls to a wrapper, which will be talking to the Seastar counterpart. But regarding to the IO path, it will using the current implementation.
So the problem is that how that several Seastar call access the same device if we port BlueStar to Seastar.
Yes, but before that, we need to determine which route we need to go. The first one is a little bit a lot low work and less risky, but the other is not risky. Is more risky because the theory is not verified. To use the utext, user context to mock the blocking cause. So we can verify the design.
Several methods, right? First, we don't port BlueStar to Seastar. Just use the traditional alien environment to run the BlueStar, not port. And so that is a traditional thread will run the BlueStar or the not one thread, but several thread, because each state maybe there is a thread in the BlueStar now currently. And second method is that only one Seastar call access the device. The other send a request to this Seastar call. Third method is that can we partition the device and give each Seastar call different partition.
I don't really think the third approach is related to our general design, because it's a fully determined by the use case. User could be partition a device into different multiple partitions, and he or she could use the whole disk for example the wall or for DB or for data. It's not our concern, I don't think. I think our concern is to port BlueStar or not.
Oh.
Hello?
Hey, I just thinking the current OSD BlueStar implementation. So currently in the object store queue transaction, we can configure how many worker thread, and they do the queue. All the thread can do the queue transaction. Then they executed the AIO, right? Executed the AIO. So all the thread can do the AIO execution, right?
I guess so, but I didn't get a chance to look into the thread
so
model in BlueStar.
Yeah, every worker thread will do the AIO block AIO execution, but only one AIO finish thread, only one KV sync thread, only one KV finalized thread, because when they write to the RocksDB, they couldn't execute in parallel, so only one thread there.
Okay, so you're talking about the finisher thread, right?
Not finished thread. AIO finisher thread is only one. So several worker thread can execute the block AIO execution. You can execute the AIO command, and then only one thread to do the AIO finish work. So
by doing the AIO finish work, you mean the to call the finish
to check if AIO is finished
and perform the finisher context, right?
Yes. So
okay.
So in our case, so each Seastar call can execute the AIO operation, right? So in the same situation, it's multiple threads can execute the AIO operation in parallel.
But I'm not sure what is the benefit or the merit of have multiple AIO execution in the context of Seastar.
No, I mean how to handle the one if one OSD only one device, right? So all the Seastar call execute AIO means they all can access the same device, right? It's no problem, right?
Yes.
But for the RocksDB, for the blue file system, when they write to the blue file system, it's only one thread, I think. To update RocksDB and blue file system is only one thread. So
yes, I think so.
it can execute AIO parallel. But when we update the RocksDB and the file system, BlueStar file system, we should point to a special call to do that work.
Yes, but I don't think it's different. If we want to port a BlueStore, it will be different than what we have now.
Okay. So what difference do you want to make?
I think the foremost question, the original question is, you posed is that shall we care about the
just
how
to answer one OSC, one device.
Yes, that's the original question. The answer is it depends on it depends on if we want to port this BlueStore to Seastar or not.
Yeah. So you mean we should decide the port or not? Do or
yes,
not
do? Yeah. But I don't really think that's the foremost problem we need to resolve, because if we can have the memory store as a placeholder at the short term, we can leave the problem for next step.
Currently, so we just leave it.
My major concern is that if we use a multiple memory store instance for each core, and pretend we will have a single object store for each core. It would be much different than what we have now. If we need to do so, we need to keep it in our mind that we need to have a single BlueStore.
Object store. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
It's just for test, store. Right? It's no problem.
Yes, only for test. Yeah, only for test. But I want to make sure we are aware of the limitation of test, and it's quite different from what we will have in future. We're running out of time. Before we wrap it up, I wanted to make sure we have some conclusion by now.
can we assume that at least for testing, I mean the testing targeting, not even a Blue Star, Seastarized Blue Star, something like that, just Memstar. Can we assume that we'll have one object store, one Memstar instance for whole OSD process, and it will be used by, it will be sharded on the PG basis, like now. Is that assumption correct?
Pardon, the last sentence?
I mean, currently in current architecture, we have OSD is already sharded, and we are doing the sharding on the PG basis. I'm interested whether we are going to change that or not, at least for the system, at least for the Memstar based testing.
Yeah, we will do the PG sharded.
Okay, sharding basing on the PG on the PG base, like now. Okay.
Yes, just for example, the each Seastar core only process several PGs. So
Yes.
each PG will belong to one Seastar core.
Yes, of course.
Then we will
Well,
remove some
usually,
box for it.
okay. Do we care about PG splits or something like that? I mean, there are some operations in current object store interface running on two different PGs. I like PG split.
That's a good question.
I don't understand. Can you repeat it?
Well,
two PGs.
at least for hot paths in current architecture, the assumption that each G is served by single shard is correct. This not mean that each in current architecture, I mean, that each PG is handled by the same thread. It's because we have in current architecture we can have multiple threads serving the same OSD shard. However, it's configurable, and for the sake of discussion, we can assume that it's set for one. I mean, one shard of OSD is handled by one dedicated thread. I think it will be quite close to what we will have in Seastar.
Yes. For the currently you can configure how many threads in one shard. You can configure the shard number and just set one thread for this shard.
Yep, shard numbers are configurable. The same with number of threads per shard. Still, there are some, well, I guess, infrequent operations requiring operating on two different PGs.
Operating on two different PGs. Okay, go on.
Yep, something like splitting PG to new one to cloning PG. Well, they are infrequently used in I think, but still needs to be aware about that. So it may be that some locking it's necessary.
So you mean the operation PGs, right? Such as the clone, braid PG or split PG?
Like PG merging and PG split.
For instance.
But that is not handled by the IO path worker thread. It's handled by the OSD process. Right?
Could you repeat, please?
Oh, I mean, it's not handled by I/O path work thread. It is handled by the OSD OSD process min thread. Am I right? I'm not sure. So I only know
Well,
that.
I think they are. I think they are handled by the same IO path, like common operations.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, they are handled by the transaction part of the IO path.
No,
Because
so
they are mostly modifiers. Even
that
all of them
operation
are modifiers.
that operation is not a PG sharded operation. When you configure the shard
Okay. Now I understood you. I think it can be that. It might be that, I think, but I'm also not sure.
okay. So I mean that is not handled by the sharded thread. It's not sharded PG sharded operation.
Yeah, definitely it's a management-like operation, so it might be placed outside.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Anyway, it requires verification. We definitely need to check that before going further.
So we should thinking how the Ceph cluster startup running on the Seastar core environment.
Could you be more specific?
So Reynolds just mentioned that the command operation for the PG, right? Splice PG, create PG, or merge PG, such that kind operations command. Who will execute that command in
Yep.
our Seastar core environment?
Okay.
So I think the framework we have decided the framework for our Seastar core and what the framework which core serve as what roles, how to match to the map to the
So
original Ceph.
the command comes from the monitor, right? And
Command.
and just like the other socket listener, I think a given connection is should be have a hardware queue on a certain core. So it's very likely all the command from the monitor will be handled by a certain core. Correct me if I'm wrong, Yingxin.
So Kefu, can we just draw a picture and then
yes.
we write which work is done on which core or what thread, what kind of thread it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the whole picture of all the Ceph cluster work.
I mean the component diagram or the time sequential diagram for existing safe cluster or for what we will have the Crimson implementation.
Yeah, Crimson. And for the Crimson, we have to implement all the Ceph work, right? So what kind of
if you
work
want,
running on what kind of cores?
so I will try. I can do it.
So when next time we provide some questions, then we can put some block in that picture. We will put this task
Yeah.
on that part.
Sure, we can point it to the diagram to be more specific when we discuss a certain question. I guess I don't have anything specific in the short term because I will be attending the meeting, and I will prepare some general component diagram and how we chart the task in OSD. Even if it's wrong, we can correct it later.
Okay, so
And
Pu,
how will
I will share you some chart we used in our team to describe the task, and then you can reference the format we used.
Sure. Could you forward it to all keep the other members in the team posted?
Yeah, no problem.
And I will review Yinxin's PR ASAP and put Casey in the hopefully in the next meeting, because to him it's a short notice. And I think Redok, I think you will have a PR very soon, because it will be a short one as regarding to the
I hope so.
shortcut of
I
the
hope
IO
so.
path.
That's the idea.
Yeah. And Jim, if any,
it can be.
yes, please go on.
I think it will be under 500 lines.
Okay.
From what I saw, from what I read of current IO path, it will be limited. It will be terribly limited, but hopefully we'll be able to handle most cases, at least coming from at least most read traffic coming from RBD.
Okay. And
But the idea is to at the moment to have that in the current OSD. After this patch, after that PR, I'm planning to extend memstore interface just reads. To
hold on, Redok. You're talking about your change is dropping replacement of the current IO path in existing OSD. Is that right?
Yep. I want to use existing OSD as a host for developing a very limited subset of IO path that will be further extended with changes to MEMS to object store interface, particularly to the MEMS store implementation. Taken all together with the messenger, I hope this would turn into terribly simplified OSD, but based on Seastar entirely. At least only on the main path, only on the read path over a replicated backend.
Yes, that path would work, and it won't depend on Chenmei's work on the memory OSD adaptation. Yeah. And we can verify its design very soon.
Yeah.
With minimal efforts.
Exactly. That's the plan. I'm doing that as an experiment, not even as a production code. To be honest, maybe we will be able to reuse the code, but it's not a key factor for that work. Getting knowledge, ensuring our assumptions is the key part.
Yeah, it will be the proof of concept of in using OSD, and hopefully we can reuse most of it or use the blueprint for Crimson counterparts in the critical path.
However, it will be extremely restricted, and also restricted in terms of operations. I mean, complexity of operations. It's only about reads. it's only about operation that handle single PG. We need to also verify our assumptions for multiple operating for operations operating on multiple like PG split.
Oh, okay. So Jianpeng, do you have any concern or problem?
No, thanks.
Oh. Okay. We can continue discussion in the next week. Any questions, guys?
I saw that meeting is set as on per 1 meetings per 3 weeks. Maybe can we have it more frequently?
Like, I
once
think
a week or even
it's already once a week, I believe.
Yes, it is. Sorry, I missed that. Cool.
Okay, cool. Okay, talk to you later. See you next time.
See you guys.
Bye bye.